What's up, YouTube? We're back with some more of our Run 8 adventure where we're taking train 130 North Long Hood forward on the brand new AGS South DLC. It's been an absolute blast. Like I said, it's a little bit of a challenge. This is the third part. I think it's the third part in the series, right? I think it is. A little bit of a challenge, but you know what? We figured it out as we've gone along, and you guys have given some good tips. So it's been fun. I really enjoyed it. So let's go ahead and hop back in the cab, and we'll get this bad boy rolling. So we're just about at burst off. Yeah, we're just about at burst off. We're right here. So if we hit tab and expand this screen, you'll see train 13027. 130 is New Orleans to Chattanooga. I think that's what it was. New Orleans to Chattanooga. So yeah, we're going to go by Norris Yard. I don't know if they work Norris Yard in real life, right? Like, just because a train doesn't yard there doesn't necessarily mean that they don't do something there, but we're going to go right on by it and not do anything. So we're almost there, guys. We're on the home stretch, but I do want to get some opposing traffic because we don't really have anything going right now. If you look and see, I don't see anything going on, so we're going to take care of that really fast. We're also going to get auto going. Let's engage auto. Let's go ahead and open that door. It's just because every time I click something, it kind of cracks the door, right? So we just go ahead and open it up so we don't have to deal with it anymore. So we got auto going. Let's do left shift F2. This is all we've got. Where is this guy at? I have zero clue where he's at. Where is he at? Yeah, I don't see him on here anywhere. I don't know where he's at. This is us. That's someone down at 32nd Street. That's not him, though. I don't think it is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that guy's at. All right, exit out. Let's do shift F2. Now he's gone. Never mind. Okay, he must have just cleared out. Let's go to spawn points. And let's do, man, I'm not sure. Where is that? I think Lubbock is on the east end, right? And Watts is on the AGS North. And we got the NA West District. That's coming from Sheffield. That way, let's double check real fast before we do this. I want to make sure. Let's see, Watts Junction. Okay, Watts and Lubbock. Okay, Lubbock is the east end. Watts is the AGS North. All right, so we could do that. Let's do something off of Lubbock. So all you need to do is just go over here and hit spawn, and it's going to spawn something in. So we should be good with that. Let's go with a little bit. We may spawn something else in a bit, but we're going to go with that. All right, let's put this guy in reverse. We got the headlight on already. Let's go up and let's go ahead and get a good set on our brakes. We got full independent. Double check and make sure it applies on the bottom. It's not a very long train. This train, I don't even know if I've given the train stats on this train, but it's 35 lows, 34 empties, 4,500 feet, almost 4,600 feet. So very typical train for back in the day, at least for me. But all right, there we go. We got 80 on the bottom. Go ahead and knock them off. Release the independent, come out on the throttle a couple notches. I don't know what the grade is right here. There we go. Oh, and we got the parking brake is set too, so we did all that for nothing. All right, now we can go. Yeah, I try to be careful releasing the parking brake because you never know, like, did we stop bunched and are we on a hill? Because if we stop bunched and we're on a hill and you let all this stuff and release and everything's good and then you knock the parking brake off, you have a potential for like the bottom of the train rolling out on you as you're pulling forward, and then you get a knuckle, right? So I generally try to avoid that. That could be a bad day, right? It absolutely could be a bad day. You want to try to get it all moving at one time. So even if you stop bunch and you got your air drawn down, as you knock your air off, you go ahead and start pulling on it as the air is knocking off to the bottom, and you kind of pulling that slack out. You know, you're kind of stretching it out as it releases, and you generally have a better time. But like I said, if you just knock the brakes off, let everything do what it does, and then knock the parking brake off, you could see potentially problems. Okay, speed limit, we're saying we're a 50-mile-an-hour train, right? We've got a lot of plastic pellets, a lot of chemical tank cars, that sort of thing. Let's pull the seat back just a little bit, because really, if he's got his seat spun around, the back of his seat should be like more about right here. Honestly. A little bit of a grade here, not too bad. All right, go ahead and go one more, number 8. Oh, we gotta talk to Otto as well. Let's just wait. Yeah, we gotta talk to Otto, see if he can get us a light. Are we up here at Burstall already? Yes, we are, actually. So we gotta make this happen pronto al dente. All right, let's tone him up, 803. Always forget that. Always forget talking to the dispatcher. He'll answer back. There we go. Ask for a light. 10-4. 10-4, good buddy. Looks like we don't have a light. Yeah, we do. Okay, we do have a light. I see. I was looking at the wrong signals. Looking at the one on the right-hand side. I guess that's for the 3B out of Mobile. One on the left is ours. All right, so now we're good to go. A little bit more. So we should be good for 50 all the way to 13th, 14th Street, the interlocking there. I think it drops briefly to 30 and then 25 and then back up to 30. And I want to say it's pretty much 30 the rest of the way through town. So we've got a little ways of 50-mile-an-hour running. All right, 0.75 down. All right, let's look at our dispatcher screen. Let's see what's going on. So we've got the Q Farber. I have no clue who that is. I don't know anything about that train. I'll be honest, I'm not feeling that train. I'm really just not. I'm not feeling that train. I don't know anything about that. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I know good and well some of you guys can... This like a Fairburn Birmingham? Like, I have zero clue what that is. But you know what? We're going to get rid of that. And we're going to go back. See what we get now. Maybe we get something a little better. 379. Okay, that's better. I wasn't sure on that other one. It didn't make sense to me, so I don't know what that is. I don't know where it's going, what it's doing. I want something that we could potentially meet at some point, and I was kind of iffy on that one. All right, let's open up out of the sag here. So we're basically coming into Bessemer, Alabama. You'll see it a bit here. Yeah, you'll see it a bit here. We got another crossing. Forgot there's several through here. There you go. You see the Bessemer Bridge up there. Very much a landmark. If you're familiar with the area, then you know the Bessemer Bridge. It says it's abandoned now. There's nothing on it, but it used to be the old CSX Elyton sub that was the OG way for the coastline to get into Birmingham before they got trackage rights on the L&N. I don't think a lot of people know that anymore, right? Like, this goes way, way back. Finish welling on this horn here. There we go. So, yeah, the Elyton sub was the OG way. It was the... it was the way that was originally built. And like I said, it was used all the way up the Atlanta, Birmingham, and Atlantic, the Atlanta, Birmingham, and coast, the Atlantic coastline, finally the seaboard coastline, and not long after the SCL came about that they got the trackage rights because SCL basically had a majority shareholding in the L&N. So they got the trackage rights, and the Elyton sub became pretty much a secondary line, and I want to say they took it out. They abandoned it like in the late 90s, maybe mid to late 90s. I'm not really sure. It's actually a really super cool route. It was mostly, a large majority of it was elevated through here. All right, finally done with Bessemer. So yeah, it's a cool route.
Northbound, southern, detected. Milepost, west, 5.3, track 2, no defect. Total, axle, 294, no transmission.
All right, no defects, we're good to go. So yeah, the OG route, like before they got the trackage rights on the L&N, they didn't even use the L&N yard. The coastline had their own, or the Atlantic coastline had their own yard in Birmingham. It's called Elyton Yard, and it was over there. It was just south of where I think where Legion Field is at, just like where the old Elyton sub went south of there. I want to say it was somewhere in there. It wasn't a very big yard. It was, gosh, I couldn't even tell you exactly like how many tracks they had. It wasn't many, maybe 10. Something like that. It wasn't many. They had a roundhouse and all that stuff, the engine facility. And then they ran interchanges from Elyton Yard up to Boyles, which was the L&N, the old Boyles Yard. I don't know when they built the hump, but that was the old Boyles Yard. They had another interchange that they took up to East Thomas. That track went over this location called Billy Goat Hill. That's long gone too. Like a lot of that stuff's long, long gone. I think towards the end of the Elyton sub, the only thing that they really ran on it before they closed it was just a couple of locals. I want to say it was a predecessor to the A734 and A735, maybe the predecessor to those before it changed. It was like the was it the 588 and the 587 or something like that, way back in the day, way back in the day. And you know, the sad part is like if you're looking for information about the old Elyton sub, it is very hard to come by. I have only seen a few legit pictures of trains on the Elyton sub. They are few and far between. I want to say they quit using Elyton Yard like in the late 50s, early 60s, maybe. Let's see, Coastline was formed in, 68, 67, 69, I think it was 68. So, I think it was abandoned, under the Atlantic coastline. I think that's when that happened. right, so far so good. This is a fun stretch to run. She's not too bad. A little bit of up and down, but nothing major. Can't tell what our next light is down there. All right, go back to the other side. I prefer to run on this side. Looks like we got to clear up there. It's kind of hard to make out against that blue sky.
Norfolk Southern detected. Milestone. We're 5, we're 10, 2, track 2.
I think we're going to spawn something else in a minute here. I started way early on that one. I thought I started about the whistle post, but I think these seem like they're way far away, maybe. I don't know. All right, let's go shift F2. Let's do, where's it at? Where's it at? Boyles northbound. That's going to be at Alice Yard. Let's spawn this in. Let's see if we can get something across the diamond before we get up there. It may not work out. Oh, he's going into yard. Doggone it. 379 is going into yard, so that was a bust. Yeah, he's done lined us across. Never mind. We're not going to see anything. I guess we should have spawned him like as soon as we started. Oh well, we tried. We need to spawn something else in. Yeah, it looks like at 379's yarding up there, so we're going to miss him, unfortunately, because we're not going. Left shift F2. Let's do Lubbock again. Let's see if we can get something else in. 153 maybe? I don't. These seem like these are all slop rates, so I guess this is Powderly. Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, Birmingham's a really cool location, railroad-wise, especially back in the day, man. They had so many different railroads up here. Coastline, L&N, Frisco, Illinois Central, Georgia, or Central Georgia, Southern. There, and I probably missed some. There were tons in town. We got to keep an eye on our speed restriction. Swap sides, right shift F11, down arrow to look back. There we go. Now we can peek the curve. Let's get our get that back right. Should be getting fairly close to the interlocking. right, back to the other side. Trying to figure out how far away we are. We got coming down. Anything? Yeah, that dude's still yard. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. Really sucks.
Detected. Milestone. 147.1.2.
I'd be willing to bet that other train's going to yard too. We may be in trouble here in a bit. I was hoping to get an intermodal or something. Pretty good grade coming up into Birmingham. That, like, for the route, for the most part, it's predominantly uphill, like going north. It has some downhills, but it's more up than it is down. At least it seems like. Let's see if we can straighten this out. Yeah, 153 is going in as well. Okay, you know what? Let's do this because I'm really worried. Get rid of that guy. Get rid of that guy. Let's try it again. Like, eventually we got to get it right. We could specifically spawn a train if we have to. I'd rather not, though. Where's it at? Lubbock. What do we get this time? It's 379 again. All right. 109. No, it's 109. Okay, 109. All right, let's try this. Let's go to F1. Let's go to train. Let's do 29K. Okay, we can't do that yet. So let's go back to shift F2. AI status. Let's get rid of the 379. All right, now let's hit F1, exit out of that. Let's hit F1, 29K is the intermodal, spawn is AI, and that we should be good to go with that. I don't know, we'll see. 29K, there you go. ACS unit, there we go. All right, we're good now. We kind of, there's the 109. It's Watts Junction. Is that who? I guess I spawned him by accident. All right, there's 13th Street coming up, whatever they call it. We call it 13th Street going north, 14th Street going south. Let's get a minimum. There we go. Go back to the other side. Fill that bill. A little bit more air. Get a full 10 pounds so we don't have to worry about stoke brakes. We'll keep pulling on it. All right, there we go. Got him built off. them keep setting up on the bottom. We can peek it, right? You can peek it on the graph, see what they're doing. It looks pretty much set the whole way. 80, yeah. All right, so we're good. And we are 23, so we can go ahead and release that. Coming into 13th Street, this is where the old Elyton sub used to join in. So Elyton Yard was back behind us a little bit over on the left. You couldn't see it from the AGS. They kind of split and separate, and the Elyton sub went over towards Legion Field, just south of Legion Field, if you're familiar with that. And then over in there is where they had their yard. It was very congested. There wasn't a lot of room. It was kind of a built-up area. They just had a few tracks there that they had their yard. A little bit of a grade up into here. Of course, it says I ran a red. We didn't. It's just a bug. It's because we're running long hood forward. It doesn't like it for some reason. All right, so we're crossing the CSX Boyles terminal here. Used to be a yard. It used to be a, not a yard tower, a tower here, an interlocking tower right here where that fenced in container is at. This is a brick tower. It's a nice tower. Wasn't there when I worked. It was long gone before that. I think it was ripped out in the 80s, maybe the mid 80s. I didn't even look to see if IO-26 was over here. You ain't even got here yet. Yeah, that totally did not work out whatsoever. That totally did not work out. Another cool little fact here is this railroad park over here used to be a rail yard. It used to be a little Frisco yard right here back in the day. And the Frisco came in where the Elyton sub came in down here. Of course, they had their yard, but they had the, I guess this was like the downtown yard or something. And there was a way that they could cross over, and they had a little track that came off here, like maybe right in here somewhere. And it went, I want to say it was a stub end yard, and they used to like free roll cars down in there to classify them. They had a lot of street running and stuff down here. Or they switched, you know, different industries. Like I think this street, whatever it is, I think it had some street running. Like there was a lot going on over here. Of course, this Frisco yard, this little yard that they hear, like I said, the main yard is East Thomas, right? That was the Frisco and IC yard, but this one's been going for ages too, like a long time. All right, let's hop back in. We're just going by Amtrak here. It's not the original station either. The original station was over here on the NA line to Sheffield, and they tore it down for what highway did they tear that down for? 20 or something? There was something they did over there that they tore that down. It was a grand station of epic proportions over there. Like, you would just be blown away at the station that Birmingham had back in the day, the Union Terminal. Another thing, long gone for ages. There's a CSX on the left here. This is how they go to Boyles Yard, or you can take the other little connector track here and get on the NA and go towards East Thomas that way. we call that 24th. Was that 24th Street? And this was 27th Street? I'd have to pull my sheet out. I think, I'm not sure. Like, don't quote me on that. It's been 20 years, so don't quote me on that. A lot of this stuff I've forgotten, but that track there is the one that we used to take to go to East Thomas. I love going to East Thomas. Absolutely love going to East Thomas. I thought it was the most chill. Being SF guys may think differently, but they need some hobos sitting right here under this bridge. There was someone there all the time. Anyway, I thought East Thomas was the most chill yard you could ever go into. They were so chill and laid back, like just absolutely awesome. If you were going in there as a foreign crew and they gave you some instructions that you weren't quite sure on or a little bit iffy about, it wasn't a big deal. They would help you out, right? There's some yards, like if you go in a yard and they tell you to do something and you're not quite sure on it because you haven't seen it, like you don't see everything, right? And you know, there's a lot of yards where they tend to like belittle you, especially over the radio. Like they get kind of shitty. And I've never agreed with that. It's not okay, you know. All right, I think, do we have a crossing up here? Or is this just a level crossing? I think there's a road too. Yeah. All right, I guess right on that. All right, we should be clear of that 25, right? I didn't count that off. Yeah, we're into 30 now, so we're good with that. Yeah, you know, you would like, I've heard guys tell the yard that they were, and I've heard stories about it, like they weren't sure about something, and the first thing they would pop back with on the radios, you mean to tell me, you know, like, yeah, you don't see everything, you know, like you don't see everything all the time. And even if you did, sometimes it was once in a blue moon kind of thing. So of course you're not always going to know. And the way crews were just kind of quickly trained and thrown out there in a matter of weeks, you know, as far as like conductors and stuff like that, like what do they expect? You know, but point is, East Thomas was always very chill. I always really appreciated those guys. I only had like, the one time I went in there, I remember going into the yard, like usually we would just, like, we wouldn't do anything, honestly. Like we just pull down to the end of the track and get off. And this particular day, they told us to pull in, like, I think they told us to come down IC1 or something. So the yard was split in half right down the middle. The IC side was on the right, the BN side was on the left, which is after the Frisco, right? Like the Frisco became the BN, became part of the BN. So the IC side, the BN side. And I want to say, oh, he just went right into the side of us there. Nice. I want to say they said come down IC1 to the west end of IC1 and like cut our power off and take it to the house. I had never been to the house from the west end of the yard. I had like zero clue how to get over there. Like I had a general idea. I knew it was on the left, but I didn't know exactly like what it took to get over there. And for whatever reason, this particular day, they want us to cut the power off and take it over there, you know, so you cut your power off, take it through the house. I told him, I said, I'm sorry. I said, I've never been over there from the west end. Can you help me out? He's like, absolutely. He's like, pull on down, go through the crossover, go by the first switch on the left, reverse, go through it. And he's like, just keep going down that lead. And he's like, we'll stop you and tell you your next, like he watched us from the tower. And like, he was so chill and okay with it, you know. Try to get slowed down a little bit here. Yeah, so East Thomas, good yard. I always enjoyed going in there. A lot of crews didn't, because East Thomas was sometimes associated with long periods of wait. I knew guys that went on duty and taxied over to East, because you went on duty at Boyles, right? And then you taxied to East Thomas, you got your train. I knew guys that went on duty at Boyles, taxi over to East Thomas, hang out at the yard office, and literally sit there for 12 hours and go dead and never see a train. And never see a train. Because it was the coordination, right? So, and I'm going to call them the BN, right? But, you know, I'm talking about the BNSF. So, when their train would get to a certain point, they would call up CSX and be like, hey, he's here, go ahead and call your crew. There was some kind of coordination that they had going on. But sometimes the train, like, they wouldn't account for the train being held out of the yard for congestion or something. And then sometimes they would go dead before they got to the yard, and they would have to get a relief job to go get it. I don't know if they did it like a relief job or if they did a yard job or something or whatever, but someone would have to go get the train and bring it in, and that, like, literally that messed everything up. Like, the coordination was horrible. It was horrible. I think the longest I ever sat there and waited for a train was maybe 6 hours, something like that. Which is honestly like a really long time to just sit around and do nothing. You know, it's like by the time you're done waiting 6 hours, you're already exhausted to get on the train and, and go, right? And then even if you did get on the train, like, there was a bunch of coordination between everyone to get the train out of there, because you know, you would leave the BN yard, East Thomas, and you go down these tracks. I think we called that the water main. I'm not really sure why. I want to say that was called the water main. And you'd go down that line a little bit, and it was, at the time, I don't know what it is now, but back in the day, oh, we just got a straight up approach. Yeah, we do. Back in the day, it was non-signal, but they didn't treat it like a block either. It was kind of weird. Like, they just let you go. I don't ever remember them, like, giving us anything. I think they just cleared us to go. So you'd go down the water main for a little bit, or whatever that line was called, and then you would get on the the NA route to Sheffield or whatever. And you'd go down it a little bit, and then you'd come off of it and get on CSX. The way it worked, NS didn't want you. They didn't want to take you unless CSX could take you. In other words, they didn't want you held up on their railroad blocking everything. So it basically worked that you could not go unless CSX could take you, which meant NS could take you, which meant BN could send you, right? Like, it was such a cluster getting out of there sometimes. Especially on, like, a really long train. We're just going to ease around up here. I don't know what's going on as far as our lights. Let's see if we can peek it. We may cheat a little bit here. Yeah, he gave us a route. I think we're good. Right, that's the signal up here for us. We got it clear. Okay. Pretty good climb out of here, right? 1%, yeah. Let's go back to the other side. So I remember one time coming out of East Thomas, we had like an 11,000 foot intermodal. I think it was one of the longest trains I ever remember having. It was super long. It was like stupid long, at least for back then. For back then, it was a big deal. It was a huge operational headache to have a train that long. Nowadays it's a drop in the bucket, right? Because of PSR, like, you know, you see 15,000 foot long trains easy, if not longer than that. But back in the day, that was like a really big deal. We had to double like 3 tracks together to get out of there. I want to say at least, if not more than that. And I remember like they had to hold us forever. And once we doubled together, like they wouldn't let us double until like we were ready to go. So that meant the NS could take us and CSX could take, like everyone could take us at once. And then like we got doubled together and we're hanging out all on top of like all kind of crossings on the water main. That's what I'm gonna call it, because I think it was called that, but I can't remember for sure. And like it was a big deal. It was a big deal and a huge headache. A huge headache. We didn't make it very far that day. We didn't even make it halfway. I think just the time it took us to like get the train together and get the coordination to get out of there and everything else, like it took forever. And the thing about the BN yard, what I did like was that they had a utility. They had a U-man there, and the U-man would make your couplings and your cuts for you. You know, there were times like you go in there, like it was nothing to have to double your train over, because the yard's it's not very long, right? It's kind of small. And so it wasn't that uncommon to have to double or make cuts when you went in, and definitely leaving. It seems like we doubled more than we cut. Doubled leaving more than we cut going in. At least the way I remember it. But it was like very few times did I ever have to do that myself. Like they had a U-man. They called the U-man, and he would come over there on like a little like I don't like a gator, something like an early version of a gator or something, and he would come over there and do all that stuff for you. But I remember being up there one time and having a tornado warning. Absolutely remember that. We were getting ready to leave. We were in the process of doubling over, and sirens started going off and everything, and they issued, like, they came over the radio, the BN Yardmaster, and said that there's a tornado warning in effect and everyone needed to take shelter. So we had, on our locomotive, we had like a car knocker, we had the U-man, like all of us got on the engine. Well, we were already there. They got on there with us, and just kind of hung out for a little bit, probably about 15 minutes, something like that. It wasn't too terribly long. Really incredibly dark, cloudy day, like really super dark, low-hanging clouds. Like it looked like almost like a dark greenish tint to them, like had a lot of hail in it and stuff. But nothing happened there, but we got out of there and went a little further down the line and went into a crazy hailstorm, like crazy hailstorm. So yeah, you used to see that. That's typical Birmingham, right? Typical Birmingham, tornado magnet. Oh, the 20, that dude's over on the other main. He's on the passenger lead, right? Isn't that what they call this? Yeah, there he is. We missed him. He's, yeah, I think that's the passenger main. And then on over, you got the ATN too. Now, when I worked, that was still CSX. In fact, the conductor that I worked with on the paper mill job you guys hear me talk so much about was actually, he was a regular conductor from the job that went up to Gadsden. Like that's what he liked to work, but something happened and he got rolled off that job, and so he came to the paper mill job with me. We had an absolute blast, but eventually he wanted to leave and go back. Is there a crossing here? I can't tell. Yeah. There we go. All right, nice. Pretty cool. Can't see jack though, right? Like, you really just can't. You can't see anything. So we're basically skirting around the yard. All right, pig train looks good. Marker's hanging. A little bit of a drop off here. There's a yard on the other side. On the left, the receiving yard. All that. Really nice rendition of this yard in game. Like, they did an awesome job on it. All right, and here we diverge back off. We got diversion clear. We have to get a little air. Yeah, I was going to try to go with it. We'll grab some air. If we're going to do that, we'll keep pulling on it pretty good. Let's go ahead and make it even 10. Of course, bell it off. Yeah, I don't know if this train works North Yard. I need to research that. Some of them do. They may not necessarily yard here, but they work, like they make set outs and pickups and that kind of thing. Still can't quite let go of it. Let's see what the air is doing there. Looks good enough. Let go of it. Backwards transition. I don't know. Also, I guess they would crew change here somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where they would swap out at. If some of you guys, I know there's some NS guys that watch, so if they know and you're watching, leave a comment. Let me know where they typically swap. Realized my camera got all jacked up like it got bumped yesterday. Bird was in a cleaning mood, it got bumped. It's all out of whack, so now I'm like the dude from Tool Time. Alright, keep going with it. So this is where we're at on the map, right? So we came down this double main here and branched off and went over here towards the east end and then back across. So we're kind of just bypassing the yard, right? In fact, that is called the passenger main. Okay. What I thought I read that somewhere. That's probably in the documentation. We should start climbing out of here pretty good. This is our grand finale. I'm not sure what we're going to do next on here. Next time I play, we may take the auto rack train down to Vance to Mercedes. I think that would be fun. Do that job. Maybe we could work a local. I know people have asked for more yard work. Locals. People have asked about Into the Flames. Into the Flames has had some updates. We might need to get back over there and check those out. They got some new fires and stuff, so we may very well do that. We definitely got plenty of stuff to look at, that's for sure. All right, there we go. There's the yard. This would be the trim side. I guess that's the trim tower. Trim job there. Yeah, this is a really nice yard, guys. Let's peek at it again. I don't know what this yard is right here. That's forwarding yard, or departure yard. Bowl. Trim tracks. This looks like I got some FEMA trailers over here. Nice. Yeah. Great yard. This is a really, really good yard. 100% legit. There you go. There's a hump job sitting there. Here's the receiving yard. Yeah, operationally, it's a really interesting yard. And railroad period. Honestly, like, I'm really impressed with it. I can't wait to see more. Hopefully they continue it on some direction. I'd love to see the east end towards Atlanta, towards Bremen, and that way. You got another large automotive plant over at Lincoln. I don't know how Alabama scored all these like big time automotive plants. Used to see that kind of stuff up in Detroit. Not no more. It's like Southeast taking over automotive manufacturing. Got Kia down in West Point, Georgia. I don't know who does Lincoln. Who's at Lincoln? What manufacturer is that? The Mercedes Advance. I really wish they'd put the automotive plant in the game at Pico Rivera on the San Bernardino sub. We talked about it before. Those auto parts cars that they used to run from the Northeast all the way to LA, man, those things were hot. So freaking hot. Like those expediter trains and stuff that they had, multiple railroads. Like they were super, super hot. A cool aspect to have in game, right? To make it interesting and challenging. Like I said, modern railroad, you know, modern railroading has been homogenized so much in like just stripped down. To me, it's not nearly as interesting as it was back in the day. It's not nearly as involved. You know, I don't know. It's just not the same. There, we got another clear. This is going to be Watts Junction, so we're almost at the end of the line, guys. That's going to be it for us. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know what y'all want to see next. Maybe, like, sometimes it's hard to do that because everyone wants to see something different, right? Like, I say something like that, I'll get 10 different comments and they'll all be 10 different things, which is fine because it gives me 10 ideas as far as what to do in the future, you know. But sometimes it's hard to get like a consensus from everyone as far as what we're going to do next. We got to get back in Farm Simulator too. I need to research how they would do, like, if a train didn't yard, but they made sit-outs and pickups, how they would do that. I know at Boyles, we did that a lot on the tail tracks. So you had your trim tracks, and then off of those came these long tail tracks. And so they would tell you like to pull down to the hand throw. And they would say, like, take your BNs into tail 1 or 1 tail and couple up the 4 tail and make your train solid and pull it down to the fire plug. So usually, like, you would take your BN, your set out, and you put it in 1 tail. And then 4 tail would be like a Nashville cut. You would grab it, back it on top of your train, and make it solid. And then pulling down through the fire plug is like where you'd swap out. Or you'd get fuel, like fuel truck would come down there sometimes. It'd take care of you that way. So I don't think they really have tail tracks down here. I didn't see it. It didn't, at least it didn't seem like it. I don't know how they would do that exactly. We're getting fast. Oh yeah, that's a pretty steep grade coming down here, guys. Grab some bear. Go ahead and get 10. We'll just run her off the end of the track. We're pretty much done. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else out here, guys. So that's going to go ahead and do it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Love all of you, and we'll catch you next time. Peace. No, big cat, no. Oh, no. No, kitty. Oh, that's a MiG. That's a MiG over his head. Okay. It's the weirdest day ever. Oh, no. He just fell. He just